Hello, listeners and fellow Game Pass fans. Get yourself set and ready for your favourite unofficial Game Pass podcast, Game Pass News. So I'll hand you over to Nick and Sean and get the show started.
Welcome to Game Pass News recorded live. That's right, live Tuesday, June 20th. I'm Nintendo. My co-host Sean Abbott and I are about to fill your brains with all this week's bits and bobs of Xbox. Like Phil's walking back statements about 11 out of 10 Starfield don't matter no more. And Xbox Game Studios got a roadmap and it is looking golden. And there's delays and all kinds of other stuff. And does 5 million players really matter when the game is freaking free? I don't know. Let's find out.
Let's look at the funk.
Look out, Detroit, because there is another Slim Shady in the house. Nick did that completely in the fly and absolutely nailed it. That was awesome intro.
Oh, well,
awesome.
Thanks, pal. Thanks. Hey, how was your Father's Day, Sean? Did you get anything awesome?
It was bountiful. It was bountiful. I got some Baileys, which I'm drinking here. I got some really nice Brewdog, which is a Scottish brewing company. One of my favorite brewers in the UK. They did a Father's Day gift box of 6 beers and the glass, which I'm using for my Baileys. They did all that, but the cans were individually like designed with the photo of the kids on, and then they named the ale. Like then they named the side of the can or where the name of the brew would be on the side of the can, which is usually Punk. Punk is one of my favorite ones that they do. It just said, "We love you, poopy head." So I have drunk those, but I've washed the cans out, sterilized them, and I've kept the cans and I've kept the box, and I'm going to keep them because I really like. It was really nice. That was really good. And then the creme de la creme is between Lindsay and the kids. They purchased me a new Apple Watch, which is great because my Series 2, I've had that 5 years, maybe 4 years. It was smashed to bits. Let's put it this way: when you work in the environment I work in, you're opening valves and you're sticking your hands in places all the time, and like the screen was completely like scratched and cracked all around the sides and stuff like that. It had been used and abused. So yeah, I got a new one of those, which was absolutely. And then we went to an American diner, which I was hoping to kind of do a food challenge of epic proportions, but they neglected. When Lindsay booked the table, they neglected to let her know that we needed to pre-book the challenge so they could have the food stuck in, because it's the UK. We don't carry the food to feed me, basically. So that's something that once we're back from our holiday in July, that I'm going to go back and I'm actually going to try it. So we had a really nice meal. It was good. I had a peanut butter and jelly burger, which literally was peanut butter. It was like streaky bacon or American bacon is what we call it over here, but what you would call bacon. Like a really nice sweet chili jam, 2 burger patties, a load of cheese, just all wedged in. It was gorgeous. So I ate all that. I drank 2 huge milkshakes, ate a few sides, ate a little bit of everybody's dessert because said I didn't want dessert and then wanted dessert. So but yeah, it was good. It was a good day. I enjoyed it. I came off night, so I went to bed. I woke up at 12:30. We opened presents. We went out for a little bit, and then we went for something to eat. It was really nice.
That's awesome, man. Good deal.
I can remember getting to the end of the day, and I was like chilling on the sofa with Lindsay, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, and the kids had all gone to bed, and I was like, kind of looked at her, and she's like, "What's up?" I was like, "I had a really good Father's Day." I don't mean that as in like I'm saying thank you to be grateful, but like I genuinely mean I've had like an absolutely awesome day. The kids were really well behaved. Like we went out, we had nice food. It was a nice day. As I just said, I had a really good day. Thank you. And so.
That's awesome, man. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, ours was good too. That's what I was gonna say. I had a PBJ burger once too, but mine didn't actually have peanut butter on it. It was pickles. It was just stood for pickles, bacon, and jalapenos. That's what it was. I remembered it. We were talking on Discord, and I was like, I can't remember what the B was, but it was bacon. So yeah. I actually would like to try peanut butter on a burger just to see what that tastes like. Because I'm addicted to peanut butter.
That's a really nice savory layer in there with everything else, and then you get like the mouthfeel of peanut butter while you're eating the burger, and all the juices. Just works really well. It's one of my favorite combinations.
Yeah, I need to. Man, I want to try this now. So yeah, mine was good. We the family came over. We did pizzas. I sent a picture of like what I was talking about last week, and we were talking about what we're gonna do. We did exactly that. It was great. Everybody made their own pizza. We had like 7 pizzas. There was way too many pizzas. Actually, we're finishing them off today. I know everybody's shocked. I was too. I didn't see it coming, but I actually got the Starfield controller. It was amazing. I was like. If I can get it, so my wife took videoed me opening it because I told her to do this, and I said I'm gonna really like own this, and so if I can get it from her, I will post it on Discord, because I was all like, oh, you got me the Starfield controller, oh my gosh, so yeah, it was a real.
I'm going to ask this question. I already know the answer to this question because we talked about it before we started recording. But how does it play very well? Is there a difference between it, or have you yet to use it?
It's grippier. I've gripped it, and I can officially tell you that it's grippier than my original Series S, and I think it's grippier than. Oh yeah, totally grippier than the Luna one. Yeah. I have not played with it. I'm sorry. I mean, if you can't tell by the title, we do play Xbox. We promise. Just maybe not in the last few weeks, but we do. But no, it feels really good. It obviously everybody can see it. It looks amazing. I don't think anybody, I'm not telling, it's like, oh my gosh, it looks amazing. I hadn't seen it. But it is grippier, and that's about the only difference. Plus, once I apparently plug it in, I will get a custom dynamic, not custom, but a dynamic background that goes with this controller. So.
Oh, yeah. That's gonna look nice. I love the colors and the like. I'm not normally drawn to a white controller, but I like the colors, like the rainbow coming into the X, and I like all the details in terms of like the throttle up, throttle down, and the grip here. Yeah, so it's a nice looking controller.
Well, I think.
Good job, Beck. Good job, Beck.
Good. Thank you, wifey poo. Yeah, and other than that, that's pretty much been life. I don't really have anything else to talk about. All right, that's about it. That's the only thing I got. I'm building a float for a parade. There you go.
I do have one for anybody that does listen on a regular basis and follows the academia of my wife. She has finished her first year of her bachelor's degree with a first. So when we looked at what this means, because I had no idea how university credits work, but apparently it goes first 1 2, 2 2, and then thirds. Apparently, trying to finishing with a first in your first year is very uncommon. So, which that means that all her assignments that she handed in, she got over 75% of her marks. So she's done ridiculously well.
Okay, so that's a grade. Is that what is that what that is? It's a grade. Because
it's a grade.
Okay, all right. I was like, at first I thought she had done 3 years or done. Okay, anyways, I get it. I mean, I somewhat get it. I feel like I need a chalkboard drawing to maybe completely get it, but I get it enough.
Yeah. So it kind of goes. It goes. I'll do it with Zoe. First, 2 1. Oh, sorry. First 1 2, 2 2, and a third.
Okay. So. Is that like a GPA for us over here, like grade point average? Do you know what that is? You ever heard of that? Is that thing over there?
Yes, I think it is. Yeah. So it's all linked to the percentage of marks that you've got in your papers and stuff like that and tests, which takes you to that average. So, yeah, she's been very humble about it, but I can see inside she's really proud of herself. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Good for her, because I would be like, look at this, biatches, look what I did. But she's much better than me.
She knows she's got another 12 months to go, and now it's in her head that she's finished the first year in a first. She needs to finish the second year in a first. So she's like, I've got a really hard 12 months ahead of me trying to do the same again.
Right, yeah. Yeah. Well, good for her. Well done, Lindsay. All right. We have a contest going on, right, Sean?
We do, and I mean, I check the notifications regularly on Twitch, and I mean, you guys need to start following and subscribing if you're new to us and you don't already follow us on Twitch. Just a single follow gets you one entry. And then if you want to be super duper kind and you want to subscribe to our channel, which I know is $5 a month, but we're partners, not partners yet, we're affiliates, so we do get half of that, which is great, which goes towards us being able to do great stuff like this, like the competitions for you guys, and things that will be coming in the future. So it really helps, and we are really grateful. But because we are really grateful, and it really does help us make better content for you guys and better competitions. That does get you 5 entries, which obviously increases the amount of chances of you being eligible for the 3 monthly free Game Pass. So, yep, follow us. Discord. This one is a Discord one, not Discord. Sorry, Twitch. My word is a Twitch one. So follow us, subscribe if you can, and if you would like to. That's going to run for another week and a little bit. It's going to take you to the end of June, and then the first episode in July, we will announce the winner.
That is correct. Do it, people. We appreciate it. We really do. Everybody who follows, whether you follow, you like a thing, or you subscribe to a thing, or whether that be on Twitch or YouTube or Twitter or Discord or all the things, we appreciate all you do. It all matters. Whether you do a review or you do a podcasty thing, it means a lot to us. It really does. So I thank you. But do this thing too, and you might win money.
We love all your things.
That's right. That's right. We love all your things. It's really good. All right. So that is enough pre-chat because I don't even know what's going on anymore. Let's move into the My gosh, we have top stories. Long time ago on Kinda Funny, a long month ago, Phil said that 11 out of 10 is Starfield. Totally didn't matter because that just didn't. He was trying to make a conversation about people wouldn't move to Xbox from PlayStation because they already had their digital libraries. So if Starfield was an 11 out of 10, it really wouldn't matter. There was a kernel of truth into what he said, but he didn't say it very well, and Xbox community got a tad bit heated about that. It sounded like good games didn't matter to Xbox. So Phil said, let's walk that back. And that's what he did in a comment just recently.
With The Guardian.
Yeah, you wanna read his little quotey thing there?
Yeah, so The Guardian, the UK newspaper, so they definitely will pick up power because we're Brits. We like to make sure everything is all our T's are crossed and I's are dots. So they questioned him about it, and his response was, the part I didn't like about what I said was, quality games is critically important to our strategy. So it's not that Starfield getting an 11 out of 10 is our goal, although that's a very silly way of putting it. I don't know if I'm going to use review scores as a mark of quality, but making the best Starfield is absolutely our goal. I want to build absolute best game, the absolute best games we can. So yeah, I think this case, I think the original Kinda Funny game, Kinda Funny podcast is what it was at, and that was around the launch of Redfield. It was after the launch of Redfield when obviously Phil was a little bit on the back foot in terms of they dropped a huge ball with Redfield not coming out completely finished. There was all the debacle around the fixed at 30 frames a second, which a lot of people were really upset about. Though I haven't seen the same amount of upset for fixed at 30 frames a second for Starfield. In fact, I've seen more people in the online community backing Starfield being fixed at 30 frames a second because people are saying that people are saying, oh, well, the game's going to look great. It looked great on there. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. And
that's totally true. Now I'm just seeing a bunch of people being like, well, no, let me explain why games are just going to be 30 frames a second. Now, it's okay. And it's like, what just happened to you people? Like, did you go through some weird paradigm that I didn't know about?
Exactly. So I think he was kind of on the bad foot. So a lot of the stuff he could have said could be easily taken out of context because there's a lot of things he was probably trying to be very tactful about what he was saying in terms of he didn't want to slate Redfall as a game or any games that they were making and developing at that time. When you're trying to defend a mistake that your company has made, you kind of, it's easy to sing when you're winning. This is the way, it's easy to sing when you're winning. So if they went in there and Redfall was amazing, he'd have been like really cocky. He'd have been like, yeah, we make great games. We do this. It's amazing. Look at me. But then like he got in there and Redfall was a shit show for the majority, and especially what people were thinking. And he definitely thought that as well. He knew Redfall would come out as a shit show, and he wasn't happy about it. So he got in there on the back foot, and he was trying to tactfully defend what they were doing, as well at the same time as having a little bit of remorse, knowing that they'd released something that wasn't polished. It wasn't there. It wasn't an Xbox game that they had delivered. So I think what he said during that interview has been taken a little bit out of context. And it's like, everyone knows if you're going to run a business, you aren't going to want to make a product that is subpar all the time. That's not your aim. You are aiming to knock the absolute ball out of the park with every single game that you make. So
yeah, kudos to Phil. Phil went out when he didn't have to. He could have closed that interview down and said, and I mean, Gary Whitta basically said this and did that. Now, the reverse side of that is a lot of times why executives don't go out, because they're not in their right mindset, right? Because they're a little pissed, maybe just at themselves, maybe at their company, at the world. It doesn't really matter. They're just pissed because things aren't working the way that they're supposed to, and they're in a funk, and so now they're in front of a camera. And they got things whirling around in their brain, and they're trying to defend this, but yet also sound like humble of like, hey, we effed up, we're sorry. And so that's hard to do when you're on your A game. But when you're in the funk, that even makes it worse. So it's easy to say something like, well, even if a game was 11 out of 10, you wouldn't fucking care. I mean, it's just kind of, and it's just, I mean, it's just kind of like, that's kind of like, so that's a lot of times why you see executives say, no, I'm not going out in public right now because I'm just not in that space. Phil still went out. He didn't say something that silly, but he was trying to make a statement of like, hey, you know what? I don't even think if our game was A+, people from Sony and Nintendo ain't going to be jumping over here just because of it. But it was a silly thing to say, and I'm glad to see him kind of get in the right headspace now and say, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. That wasn't, I didn't entirely mean all of what I said there. So good on him. I am still glad he went to Kinda Funny. That really shows the kind of guy he is, not just as an executive, but also just as a guy. He took one, even when he went out there and took the questions, even when we knew they were going to be pretty shitty questions. So.
Yeah, I mean, I have never seen I've never seen somebody at that level do that before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we'd see Jim Ryan. Would you? Do you reckon if like the next Spider-Man game that came out and it was an absolute shit show, would you expect to see Jim Ryan jump on a podcast like that and have a conversation and be like, and basically throwing Sony under the bus a little bit, and at the same time he's trying to defend what they were doing next? I can't see that happen. I mean, I don't like Jim Ryan. We know there's a pretty strong following behind us that know that I don't like Jim Ryan. Mm-hmm. But
yeah, it's pretty well documented. I thought you just wanted to say more phallic words, so I thought, oh, okay, this is why I brought Jim Ryan.
No, we've already dropped enough expletives in the first 20 minutes of this podcast. I don't need to follow up by calling him anything else.
That's fair.
But I honestly can't see it happening. I can't see Jim going out and do something. Like, I have never seen anybody at that level go out and do something like this before with the company. I haven't. So just like you said, kudos to him. He did a very difficult thing at a very difficult time, and did the best he could. And for people have took some things out of context. So
that is true. Xbox Game Studios roadmap is looking good. Phil says there are games you ain't even seen. He didn't use the word ain't, but he should have because it would have added spice. Ain't even seen. Like Perfect Dark, And Everwild, which Matt Booty, which nobody should have the last name of Booty, but he has been given that and they can't do anything about it. God bless him. Matt Booty says he has played Perfect Dark and it is good. That doesn't really mean much from an executive, but whatever. That's what he said. And Perfect Dark and Everwild, which is funny because we'd love to know more about Everwild. That's a game we haven't seen in a long time. But he says he got nothing to worry about. And then Pure Xbox made this really cool roadmap for us too, which kudos to them. You should go on their website and look it up, people. It's really good.
Yeah. Let me jump in. Let me have a very quick look at this. You guys really didn't see. I was just noting that we haven't had many people in chat on the live thing so this evening. So I'm just making sure that we've got that set right because last week I was alerted that it was only subscribers only. So we're just making sure.
Oh, it's a good point. I didn't look at that, to be honest. Okay, you look at that. I'll talk about this.
Okay.
So yeah, so it is interesting. You know, I mean, we have 2024 lineup of Avowed and Hellblade and Towerborn and Flight Simulator 2024. But then the games that are upcoming that we don't really know much about, Everwild, which is be great to know more about that. As I said, Fable. When is that coming out? Probably 2025, I think. Project Mara, Outer Worlds 2. People looking forward to that. Perfect Dark. So Contraband, there's another game that nobody ever talked about. And then there's this rando untitled Kojima production that has been not rumored, that's actually came out. It was said that Kojima's working on a production for Xbox. Elder Scrolls 6, which I hope to see before I retire. And so yeah, I just there's a lot out there and a lot that is left. They can totally fill their calendar for the next 2 years, quite frankly, and with just the games that we don't have dates for, which is very exciting, but also a little nerve-wracking as well because, well, we don't have dates for them. So, did you figure that out, Sean?
I haven't. I'm having to use Google.
Okay, you Google it up. So, but anyway, so that is our top stories. News bulletins. Flintlock was delayed to 2024. Quite frankly, I don't care because I would love for that game to come out like right now in July. But quite frankly, if it's not, don't delay it till like October of 2023 because it doesn't matter. So 2024 seems like a great time to come out to me. Ironically, we have Todd Howard saying that Starfield, he has almost exclusively played Starfield on an Xbox Series S, and it is fantastic. So that is good for all of us, our Xbox Series S fans, that we're not going to be hopefully losing anything other than what we would already know that we're losing, which is a little bit of resolution, which I don't necessarily care about. So Todd Howard said it works out great, so don't be afraid to play it on an S because that's where.
Yeah, I liked his little quote in that. I'm back now because I think I fixed it. I liked his little quote in that in the terms of that he says that he bought a Series X and a Series S at launch, and the Series X is like hooked up to his big 4K TV in the basement that he's now not allowed to play because that's where the kids play all the games. So he's stuck playing most of the games that he has probably helped develop and publish, and he's playing those on a Series S upstairs in his living room. Probably not on his bigger TVs he's got in the basement. So it's nice to know that the dad life struggle is real, even at that level.
It's so funny. Like Todd's like, hey Phil, could you let me borrow an X? Could you? And Phil's just like, no, man, go out and buy one. I'm not gonna. No. It's just so funny. Like, really, Todd? You mean you really want me to believe that Phil's just not like handing out a Series X's to you? Whatever. Okay. But I hope his word is still true that it looks great on the Series S, or at least plays great. That's all. That's what I want. Xbox Studios devs came out and said there's no Xbox Studio devs working on everybody's working on Xbox Series exclusives now. So none of the games being worked on now are going to be played on by Xbox Ones. They're all for the current gen, and moving forward, that's where they will be. Bummer for anybody who has an Xbox One. good news for all of us in the Xbox Series world that we can expect them to try to get all the juice out of the current gen titles or the current gen platforms. Finally, Microsoft has entered into an agreement with People Can Fly, the developers of Outsiders, for a new AAA title.
I mean, are these the people that slated Game Pass at one point, saying they were really hard to work with and they struggled to make any money out of it?
So they slated, more than anything, they slated the publisher, Square Enix. If you'll remember,
okay.
the idea was, Square Enix cut them a shit deal, or cut a crappy deal to Xbox, and they were basically like, "Hey, Square Enix hasn't given us any money," and Square Enix is like, "Well, you haven't reached the threshold for us to give you money," and so somewhere somebody made a bad deal. And what I don't hear, whose name I don't hear in this article, is Square Enix. I think Microsoft said, no, we're really sorry for what happened back there. You come work with us.
Just completely cut out the middleman. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what's happening here, because nobody says, "Hey, we made a deal with Square Enix so People Can Fly can make this really cool game." Nope, they're Microsoft and them are talking together now. I think they're gonna either publish through Xbox or self-publish. I don't really know, but I'm happy for them. I have only played a hot second of Outsiders, but it was pretty well received, and so I'm interested to see what their new project will be. Did they say? Now I'm kind of interested. Now that I just said that, to develop.
I don't think it was there with what they said, but it was. I think it's just labeled as. Slayers expansion. No, they didn't say. They gave a budget number between 30 to 50 million. So it's a fucking huge budget. Jeez.
Yeah, it's a good size. That's for sure. But it does say it's a new AAA title, so I'm assuming that this is not like Outsiders 2. So.
Yep.
You know what? I just realized. Wait, let me go back to that. I think I've totally been saying this name wrong.
Outriders.
God bless.
I just noticed it as well. I thought it was Outsiders, but then I clicked on the link to have a look at the game to make sure it's definitely that developer I was on about. So
whatever, people, you know what I meant. For all the time I just said Outsiders, you just replace it with Outriders, and it'll be good. It's okay. There you go. Oh, anyways. So that is our news bulletins. Our feature story is, does Nick really know the title of games? No, it's not. It's Ghostwire Tokyo surpasses 5 million players. Golf clap. There you go. That's not the feature story, because that's kind of lame. The real question is, does this metric even mean anything in the days of Xbox Game Pass? I don't know. What do you think, man? I mean, they're not saying that 5 million titles were sold.
No. Well, this is it. This is where the metrics, I believe, becomes a little bit jaded and a little bit confusing, because we have this digital market now where you can go and you can buy a game, download it, and play it, and you've got the cloud market where you can go and you can play the game via the cloud, enjoy it enough to think, I'm going to download that game and play it with my subscription. Where do they get that money? Where do they get that figure from? So reading it, Tango Gameworks has announced that Ghostwire Tokyo has officially passed 5 million players just over a year since it debuted on the PS5 and 2 months since it arrived onto Xbox consoles as part of the Xbox Game Pass. So this game has hit the 5 million mark at over a year old, and it's been on Game Pass for 2 months. I want to see a graph or a numerical representation of how those figures changed at those points, because that's the bit that I'm interested in. It's fine, fair enough. You've had this game out for over a year. It's took this long to get to 5 million. Where did it charge? Did it do okay being able to buy it and download it, or buy it physically and stick it into your PS5 and play it? Did it do okay? And then as soon as Game Pass people got hold of it, did the hype of Game Pass make more people go out and physically buy a copy or digitally download a copy and purchase it? Or are you counting the amount of people that played it because it was free with a subscription?
Yeah, they gotta be. They're definitely. I mean, the thing is there a metric between what a player playing the game means? Like, is that like, am I a player playing the game? Meaning, I downloaded the game. I think I did. Is it on cloud? I don't know. I might have played it on cloud. I can't remember. Either way, I played the game for like an hour. I was like, nah, not for me. Put it down. Never played it again. And either uninstalled it or just stopped playing it on cloud. I can't remember which one I played it on. So, like, do I count?
You see, I stuck a good 8 to 10 hours, maybe 12, and I downloaded it. I played it. I played a lot of it. So do I count more than you because I played it for longer, or is it just, where is the cutoff? This is the thing. Where is the cutoff? Who counts for what? That's
yeah.
Yeah.
So what? Let me see. I'm hoping nothing plays when I do this, but
I've played. Let's do this way. I played Tears of the Kingdom for over 130 hours. I can definitely, and that's digitally. I didn't. I mean, I have a physical copy of the game, but I've never played my save on a physical copy. So I can honestly say, yeah, you can count me in as one of your millions of players that played your game, because I have put some serious time into it, even though I purchased it with money digitally to own it digitally. But then games like Tunic on Game Pass, do I still count? Because I played 20, 25 hours of that game to really complete it all the way. Do I still count? Same with Wreckfest. And I played Wreckfest specifically through cloud, the same as Dusk Falls. I played that specifically through cloud. Do I still fall into the category of a player that has played that game, or am I in a completely different metric at all? I'd love to have that conversation with somebody that measures metrics and talks about stuff like this. I'd like to get hold of. I mean, it'd be awesome if we could have Phil, but even if it was one of Phil's underlings that could kind of talk to us about the metrics of how they measure people that play and games and stuff like that when it comes to Game Pass. It's like, how are they recording that? Because sampling games constantly, Game Pass is the buffet of games. Sampling games constantly means that those figures are constantly going to jump up and down, up and down, up and down, all over the place.
Yeah, it is.
How is it?
And what does it even matter? So okay, one, let me answer. Let me tell you what I think the answers to your questions are. I don't know the answers, but let me tell you what I think. I think yes, if you play on console or cloud, they don't care. They're counting you as somebody who played the game. Now, but what I'm not sure of, what I will kind of be a little like, really, is if like I'm in the 5 million that played Ghostwire Tokyo because I played it for an hour. Like, do I count towards that? Like, if I do, really, guys? Like, but I guess, I mean, the way they said it, 5 million players have played the game. That is, I did play the game. Like, I can't say I didn't, because I definitely did. So I guess by the letter of what they're saying, then I would count. But it just seems a little lame. But then the question I pose to you is, why are they even published? Like when Nintendo comes out and says 10 million copies of TOTK sold. Wow. That's huge. Like, you can just like do the math and think, holy shoot, that's a lot of money. People put their actual cash into this game. But when 5 million people played a game that is free with the subscription, well, okay. But I mean, I guess Netflix does the same thing, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but the thing is, the game has been available on the PS5 longer than it's been free to play on Game Pass with your subscription. So I can understand why they're measuring that, because they'll have been like, since release over a year ago on the PlayStation 5, 5 million people have played this game. Which is why I asked the question of when, like, if you looked at a chart, you've got like day of release, you've got like 1 million people have played the game. Like 16 months later, it goes, look, we can release this on Game Pass with a subscription, and it goes from 1 million people to 5 million people. It's like, at what point did those figures rise? Did they rise because it was free to play? Did they rise because it was word of mouth? I'd like to see the timeline of the metrics on this one, because that's when it'd matter to me. Is if 4.8 million people have played this game because it was available to play on the PS5, where they could actually spend money to play the game, fine, that's great. You celebrate that 4.8 million, because that's great. As Tango Gameworks isn't a huge AAA developer, they're like an A-level developer that, they make some pretty good games. Hi-Fi Rush, one of those games. Deathloop, they were involved in. Fantastic. When you go and make a game like that then gets to like 4.8 million players, that's a big number. 4.8 million is a lot. It's half of what you've just said. Now, wow, that's amazing. Tears of the Kingdoms did 10 million. So if they can get to 4.8 before it's hit a subscription service like Game Pass, that's brilliant, fantastic. Pat yourself on the back for that, because that's a good number. And I mean, the game was great. I mean, the only reason why I came away from it is because there were other things to play that I wanted to put some more time in other than Ghostwire Tokyo. But the premise of the game was great. That it was a first-person style shooter. There was a lot of platforming involved. There were puzzles. There was quite ghostly and eerie. It was a really nice game to play. It was well finished. It was, there were some flaws in the game, but there weren't many. So if you'd have hit if you'd have hit 4.8 million before it came to Game Pass, that's great. But if you were at like the 1.5 to 2 million, and then it's doubled those figures since it hit Game Pass, is that really a metric that you want to measure because your game was free to play because of a subscription? Like, you have to weigh out the cost of having that game on that subscription service to the amount of money that you're actually making from the subscription service that you could be making over valued purchases of the game. That's where that gets us back to the question of you're asking: is it meaningful to have that kind of metric on Game Pass? Like, does that really matter? Or would you have two different metrics running side by side? So you've got the amount of people playing the game purchased, and you've got the amount of people paying the game as part of the subscription. It is because that subscription service either coming to an end, or it's leaving that subscription service, or because of word of mouth, have more people started to purchase the game. So you've got two different timelines running. So, which is why when we talked about having this as a feature story earlier, I mean, this is why it's a very strong story, is because there's so many different elements to this being a metric that isn't just.
It almost seems now here's the thing that I would find interesting. If you paired this with like, thank you to the so I just went and looked howlongtobeat.com, 11 hours is what they say, how long to finish the story. If you paired this with like, thank you to the 5 million people that put 500 million hours into this game, because that would tell me that by and large, if the story is 11 hours, by and large, people are sticking with this game to the finish, right? I mean, of course, that's not going to be all, because it's 38 hours for completionists, so you're going to have some of those, and you're going to have some of me. But that would show you. But if they're like, thank you to the 5 million people which put in 20 million hours, well, then I'm looking at that number, and I'm like, okay, well, not a whole lot of people finishing that game. Now, granted, they have those metrics, and they're looking at them, because they want to know how well did Ghostwire Tokyo capture our audience. But they're not going to give those numbers. Not really, because if they give that number, then I don't think they want people to know that, because they just want people to know the shiny number of 5 million people playing this game. But if you think about it, really, it doesn't mean much unless it's paired with some more information. But I don't know. But it's hard for Xbox to really shine a meaningful light on a game these days, other than using review scores is really your big one, but because people aren't paying for the game, it's really hard for people to be like, look at this, you know, like except to be like, look at all the people who are playing this game. And it's like, well, I don't really know what that means, if anything, quite frankly.
I mean, metrics are great if there's a monetary value behind the game. That's where like metrics are good for me. So like when we get to is it usually around April time where we start to see people release it's February, March, isn't it, where we start to see like Nintendo saying, yeah, in Q1 and Q2 of the game release of this, we saw this many numbers in this, and this. It's like when they start announcing that, like when Animal Crossing was announced, for like the numbers it was making, and I was sat there and thinking, I can imagine like maybe 8 or 9 million people have bought this game. But it was like, oh yeah, we're nearly the 30 million people have like bought and played this game. I was like, holy crap, that's 30 million people spending £50 or $50, depending on where you are, on this game. It's like that has just made Nintendo a shit ton of money. Yeah. So that's great when you want to look at it like that. When Game Pass turn around and go, yeah, we have, we dropped Halo Infinite and we had 12 million players, and it was like, yeah, that's great. You had 12 million people who were paying a minimum of $7.99 a month to play this awesome game on PC. Like that's your minimum for like PC Game Pass and not Ultimate. It's like, yeah, could you have made more money if you sold the game outright for $30? Would you have had if you had more people, if you had the same amount of people paying $30 for it and playing your 12 million people playing it, you'd have made more money. So
yeah, it's interesting, and it's hard for, like I said, it's hard for Xbox to really shine a spotlight on their games in any meaningful metric. I mean, it's hard for me to come up with a metric unless they want to, like I said, unless they want to start divulging real information on games, which Xbox doesn't like to do, and start not just saying, hey, this many people are playing it, but this many people are playing it for this many hours. And that's a meaningful metric to me.
Yeah, the only way for me measuring metrics on Game Pass works is if you want to look at the genre of games that people are playing from Game Pass. So if you want to start diluting it down to strategy games, RPG, turn-based, FPS shooters, racing games, open world style stuff, if you want to break it down to those genres and start looking at the metrics behind those, you can kind of then tailor the deals that you make with developers and publishers of different games on your subscription service to kind of entice more people into playing games on your subscription service and pull people into it, which is fair enough. Which is also brings me around to something I was reading earlier about, are we getting sick of open world style games? And Xbox leaning heavily into those style games because, had they looked at that metric and gone, people are really digging open world games and sandbox style games. So it's like, why don't we make a load of those? Or why don't we buy in a load of those like open world kind of sandbox style games? Because people are really playing those. I think that's why at one point we saw Farming Sim. And now we're seeing open world have this. Because that is what's measuring. That is like, if you want to use some kind of metric at the moment, that's probably what's working best.
Yeah, it is interesting. So like I just looked, Netflix doesn't give the amount of people watching, but they give the amount of hours watched. So like Stranger Things had 1,352 I don't even know how to do this. It's in millions. So 1,352 hours watched in millions. What is that, like 1.3 billion?
1.52 million? No, one.
I don't even know.
Well, that passed me again.
It broke my brain. So I'm gonna stop. But anyways, it's a lot. I think it's I think that would be like 1.352 billion. Because it's in millions. But anyways. So would it be more...
1.35 billion.
Yeah. So would it be more meaningful if they But you need them. You really need them both. I stand by that. You need, if you want meaningful metrics, you need them both, because this doesn't mean any. I think it might mean more than the number of people watched, but to really be meaningful, you need both numbers, the number of players and the number watched. When you only have one of the two, you don't really have enough data for me to do anything more than give the golf clap. That's all you get. That's all you get until you give me real numbers.
I'm gonna put this question. So this is a live question. I'm gonna put this to Business Justin, because he'd probably be able to answer this better than we can grasp our little tiny heads around. What is more meaningful, Justin? Is it the hours played, or the amount of people that have downloaded the game on a subscription service like Game Pass? I can totally understand that in the open world, purchasing a game is more valuable than the amount of hours played of a game. So, but in terms of a subscription service, which one would work better? And I'm going to try and I'll dilute that down into a question, and I'll probably stick it into the end ads for Justin to digest and potentially answer in his next episode.
There you go. I like it. All right, let's move on to Game Pass headlines and what the heck is coming out and has come out. Game Pass headlines out since the last episode. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing was dropped in the last week since last Tuesday. We had Dordogne. I don't know. We're done. Dropped Tuesday.
We had that French town.
Yeah, the French town dropped on Tuesday. There you go. But we do have stuff coming up. Xbox knew we were going to be on tonight. And Phil was like, you got to give them something, guys. And so they dropped something this morning for us. Really appreciate that, Philly. Good guy. So you want to go first, Sean? Because I may have lost my list. I may have deleted it.
Oh, you may have deleted the list. Oh dear. So Fist, Forged in the Shadow is one of the first games. I also deleted the list, which is great. So
oh my gosh, who can get there first?
Probably not me. Probably you. That is one of the first games, and I did read it because I even looked at the
I got it.
Gameplay trailer. Good man.
I love it. Fist. The Tough Rabbit is making his way to Xbox Game Pass. Enjoy a seamless adventure, a combat experience. By the way, Fist stands for Forged in Shadow Torch. Enjoy a seamless adventure, a combat experience that has been well received by all players, and dive into a diesel punk. What the heck is a diesel punk? That's not steampunk, it's diesel punk. I don't even know the difference. Stay fluffy and stay furious.
One run on... It's one of those run on water term to steam, and the other one is run on diesel.
I guess so. Yeah, it must be greasy. I bet that's the difference. This is greasy. Instead of steam, there's just like grease everywhere. That's diesel punk. I don't know.
So yeah, it's not clean. It's like a really mucky punk.
A mucky punk. I like that.
Mucky. Okay, so yeah, the next one is Bramble the Mountain King. This is another one that's coming on 6th of June. Why did I say 6th of June? This is why the dates are the wrong way around. 27th of June. I've even gone in the wrong direction because we've got stuff coming out before these. So let me rewind. Let's go backwards.
That's on me, actually. We did something new and it screwed everybody up. Sorry, my bad.
So let's talk about Need for Speed Undone, because Unbound, sorry. So Need for Speed Unbound drops 22nd of June. I mean, if you've played Need for Speed before, you'll kind of get the grasp of this. You can outrun the cops. You can do races. You can bet against other opponents mid-race, but it's a little bit more open world. So you teeter into more towards like Forza Horizon, but with a Need for Speed style gameplay. Just the tweak that they've got on this is a lot of anime style animations in terms of like the tire smoke is a bit more animated. When you do jumps and boosts and stuff like that, there's really weird animations that happen at the side of the car. But if you're a big Need for Speed fan, especially it's like a really good mix of Need for Speed Underground 2 and Most Wanted. So if you want to stick those two together, that's kind of like how this game looks like it plays. It's piqued my interest because of the Need for Speed Underground 2 element. I was a huge fan of Need for Speed Underground. I put a lot of time into that on the PlayStation. So yeah, if you want to give that a try, 22nd of June is available.
Also, 22nd sorry, my bad. Also, 22nd of June, console and PC available day one, which, by the way, is this Thursday. So if you're listening to this on podcast, it's already out and enjoy it. We saw it first on the extended showcase. The Bookwalker, a narrative adventure in which you play as Etienne Quist, a writer turned thief with the ability to dive into books. Use your powers to journey between reality and book worlds to steal legendary items like Thor's hammer.
Yeah, nice. I like it. I am interested in this one because I liked the graphics. I thought they were really good, and I like the twist where you're diving into books. It's a very weird genre. It's a bit eerie, it's a bit creepy, and there's a bit puzzly. So this might actually tear me away from Tears of the Kingdom. Whew.
I like that. That was good. I liked it. Go for it.
So going back to the 27th of June, we've got Bramble the Mountain King, which is one that I started to mention earlier, but didn't finish. Bramble the Mountain King is a grim adventure set in a world inspired by dark Nordic fables. Explore the beautiful yet dangerous and twisted land of Bramble in your endeavor to rescue your sister, traverse wondrous landscape, and survive deadly encounters with Bramble's many hideous creatures.
Hideous creatures. Also,
yeah, this.
Oh, go ahead, sir.
Sorry, I was saying this. Like reading the blurb for this, it does sound very Zelda-esque anyway. So interesting.
Are you just trying to find a reason to leave Zelda? You're like, well, but this is
no.
Zelda.
There's no way I'm going to leave Tears of the Kingdom properly. Come on, like even the Bookwalker probably won't take me away from it. So let's be honest.
We play Xbox. We promise.
We do.
Also out next week, Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town on console and PC. This is the not the last edition, but the edition before last. So Pioneers of Olive Town is the last one. I know because this is a farming sim, and I absolutely love them all. So if you like farming sims, this is about as good as it gets. These are from the creators of Harvest Moon. There's a big rights, blah blah blah. But they're very good games. If you like the Harvest Moon games, you'll probably love the Story of Seasons games. Friends of Mineral Town will be out June 29th. So great game for kids and anybody who loves them farming sims.
Yeah, and then this takes us into July. That's the last of the June games which are coming out, and this takes us into July. I'm not forgetting that in and amongst all those game releases, there is Elder Scrolls Necrom, which is now available, apparently. That was the 20th of June. So if you want to go and get that download, we saw that in the showcase as well. So just as a highlight that because I completely forgot. Moving into July, 3rd of July sees Arcade Paradise drop on Game Pass. And Arcade Paradise is a 90s fueled retro arcade adventure. Rather than washing rags for a living, you decide to turn the family laundromat into an ultimate arcade. Play, profit, and purchase new arcade machines with over 35 to choose from to build your very own arcade paradise.
This actually sounds kind of fun. I love the play part. So, like, this is like a fun arcade. You can play these old arcade games, but also there's like this business logistics side video game. I think this could be pretty fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
Arcade Paradise.
Next is the last game they announced, July 5th, Sword and Fairy Together Forever. Together Forever, the Sword and the Fairy. Console and PC, enter a realm that blends ancient mythology with traditional Asian aesthetics in Sword and Fairy Together Forever. Weaving its tale between the three clans of human, deity, and demon, it puts you in command of a memorable party of characters. There you go. And that is what was announced just today, June 20th. So they've kind of given us a roadmap. We were very unsure last podcast what was going to happen. I said they'd come out on Thursday. I was wrong. They came out the Tuesday after that. But now we at least have an idea for until the first week of July.
Yeah, which is nice. Takes us quite nicely into what was the big thing that was coming July?
Oh, you and I were doing the same thing. That's what I was trying to figure out too.
Yeah, but anyway, that does. We were asking questions in the last episode, like what the hell are we going to be playing between now and the next game that actually comes out? But they've quite nicely done that for us, and hopefully Nick, by the point I have finished speaking, has loaded up what it says. I have saved the Xbox Studios roadmap, so we can share that as well. So,
Well, for me, it's Wandering Village, July 20th. So
yeah, that was the one. That was the one. That's the one I was thinking of. The
Yeah.
different biomes and
Yep.
atmospheres.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
yeah. That was the one I was thinking of. So, we did get a list of games that are leaving 30th of June. So to commemorate the end of June and the beginning of July. DJ Max Respect 5, Empire of Sin, Matchpoint Tennis Champions, Alicia, Amari, and Road 96 are all games that are leaving end of June.
Not really sad to anything there, to be honest. Other than Road 96, I would have liked to have tried that as a narrative game, but you know, that's all right.
Yeah, like that seems to me of hey, let's get rid of a couple of games that maybe not a lot of people have put hours into on their metric measuring. So.
What's out for games with gold, sir?
Nothing new, nothing's changed as of yet. So we've still got Adios, which is running through to the 30th of June, and Veil Shadow of the Crown, which is still running July 15th. We haven't had anything that's going to give us a roadmap from the end of June onwards. So,
gotcha. All right. Well, then that is everything. We shall hit the dashboard. What have we been playing? Sean, I have put time into Mighty Doom. I'm still on that train, baby. I'm rolling like, I got like the wind's just going through my hair. Every day I'm playing the things and doing the stuff. And I almost beat level 9 and boom, it's a mobile game. And y'all be like, what the hell are you doing playing a mobile game when there's all this other crap out? I don't even know, but I am. So shut up and don't judge me. And I'm also playing TOTK, except I'm nowhere near where Sean is. I'm like a baby scratching the surface, trying to just maybe do a couple of things here and there. And that's my dashboard update. So there you go.
Yeah, mine kind of similar, apart from I've played one less thing than you.
But you put in like 125 more hours in it than I have. So there you go.
Yeah. So Tears of the Kingdom, I am heavy into that big time. I've done all the Lightroot shrines. So I mean, if you haven't played Tears of the Kingdom, you're listening to this and you're thinking, why are you talking about Nintendo games? This is an Xbox podcast. We apologize. We are big Nintendo fans at the end of the day, and they dropped a huge like franchise that pulls on mine and Nick's heartstrings, and everybody else that's a Nintendo fan that should pull on your heartstrings. It's Zelda, crying out loud. Yeah, I'm at the 130 odd hour mark of it now. I've done all the Lightroot shines. In the depths, I'm now working my way through all the actual shrines. I think I'm at something like the 118 to 119 mark on those now. Plowing through them pretty well. It's getting interesting. There's a lot I've learned. There's a lot I've learned about Zelda generations. Well, this generation of Zelda anyway, which I could probably have learned in Tears of the Kingdom. Not Tears of the Kingdom, sorry, Breath of the Wild, that has come through to Tears of the Kingdom. But like some of the abilities I'm absolutely loving. Let me think. It's like the fuse ability is fantastic. Like for designing weapons and different shields. Like I love attaching different Zonai equipment to shields, like springs, rockets, stuff like that, to help traverse the world. Try not to give too much away. Auto build, especially if you're wandering around in the depths, I would use auto build like a lot, because once you're in the depths, you'll notice that there's like little bronze colored hexagons on the map. If you visit those, there tends to be a couple of Zonai devices that you can use. once you've got auto build, you can set. Once you've built something, you can set that as a favorite. So when you visit one of those spots, if it has all the stuff that you need, you can kind of like build it for free. But if you're doing a lot of Zonai rock or Zonai, can't remember what it's actually called. But anyway, if you're doing a lot of mining for stuff like that, it costs a couple of those to build if you're missing parts. But like getting around in the depths is easily done by flying. So yeah. But yeah, that's like I've done a lot. I've beaten the King Geelok on the surface. I've beaten the King Geelok on the sky. I came across the King Geelok in the depths and kind of looked at it and went, no, I don't have enough arrows, and just walked away. I was like, no, I'm not even going to take that battle on. So I had 4 hearts. I had 4 out of the 20 odd hearts that I've got at the moment. I think I had 4 that were filled red. The rest were blanked out, and I had maybe 12 that were affected by gloom. So I was definitely not going to take anything on.
Hey, Bruce is just got Zelda for Father's Day. So congrats, man. Enjoy it. He's looking for the second shrine. Me too. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a little bit further than that. But doesn't feel like much further, I'm not gonna lie. So awesome, man. Good for you.
So with that, Bruce, I will stop saying stuff. The stuff that I'm saying now is things that you get when you're really, really deep into it. It's like it's took me 130 hours to get to this point. So I am spoiling a great deal that's going to take you a long time to find. So don't worry about it. There's plenty to play. Enjoy it. It's a great game. But that's it. That's about it. I tried Get Over It as a mobile game. I don't know if anybody else has ever tried that. You play what looks like a muscle-bound man in a tiny cauldron with a giant hammer. And you basically just use your thumb to control the hammer, and you hook it into different aspects of the landscape, and you pull yourself and flick yourself over it. It's one of the most frustrating games I've ever played. To the point where I deleted it off my phone. I think I couldn't get past the second part. So like I got over this tree, and then like there's this mountain aspect that you've got to climb over and get in between a couple of places. And if you flick it in the wrong direction, you can send him flying back across the map and go back across somewhere where you've just spent like 10, 15 minutes trying to get through.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
Yeah. I turned that down very quickly and turned it off and got rid of. So but that's it. I don't know. There's not been a great deal that's captured my attention so far on the Xbox. And obviously Tears of the Kingdom's taken over quite a lot because I want to get a lot of that done, because I know when Starfield comes out, Tears of the Kingdom is going to be my kind of game that I only play handheld when there's stuff on the TV that I'm not interested in, or we're kind of away doing something, or I get a bit of quiet time at work. So I'm trying to get as much time into that as I can before Starfield comes out.
Mm-hmm. I will agree. I mean, there has been some things but June has not been a great month for me with the a lot of the stuff I would like Friends of Mineral Town, and Rune Factory 4, I have already played. If Zelda wasn't out, I probably would have tried stacking, and I would have played the Big Con. Those are the 2 games this month that I would have played if Zelda wasn't taking up all my time and I didn't go on a cruise. But really, it doesn't matter. I am on a tear. Well, that's the wrong word, because I'm not tearing through it. But my goal is to beat Zelda before Starfield. So that's where that's my goal.
Are you excited for the Nintendo Direct tomorrow?
Yeah, I am. You know what I think we're going to see? I think we're going to see a lot of games we saw in the extended showcase that are going to, for Xbox, and they're going to be landing. They're going to also be landing on the Switch. I think we're going to see, a little bit of that. We're going to see Pikmin. Maybe we'll see some, I don't know. We got to see something for the holiday, right? Like, we got to see something Pokemon, but Pokemon usually does its own thing now. But
I'm I'm interested to see, and this is going back to previous podcasts we do. I'm interested to see are they at a point now where they could introduce some new Animal Crossing stuff?
Yeah, they're done.
You think they're done already?
Yeah, they're done. They're done. I mean, they're not done with Animal Crossing. They're done with that Animal Crossing, and they are working fervently on whatever the next Animal Crossing is going to be.
That's what that's going to be because that game suckered us big time. So
yeah, that'll be a real problem for us. I don't know what happens then, Sean. Don't even ask me. I don't even want to think about the perplexity when Nintendo says Animal Crossing's new whatever comes out in a year. I don't even want to. My brain will probably break, and then you'll have to pick me up and put me back together.
We'll just sell. We'll sell the rights to Dead Crossing to somebody and be like, "Here you go." Maybe we'll see. We can monetize that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens then. Yeah, no, I don't think we'll see anything Animal Crossing. I think there will be a surprise franchise. I don't know what it is, but I think there will be a surprise franchise that they dig into and announce for holiday.
Metroid Prime. More Metroid Prime.
Yeah, maybe. You think they're gonna piecemeal those? I think people would be pretty pissed if they did. Like Metroid Prime 2, and now you can pay another.
It's gonna be drip fed to us. I'm sorry, I don't want to say this, but I sincerely believe it's going to be drip fed to us slowly. And then maybe 18 months after they've all been released, like the final one's been released, you'll be able to buy a collector's edition where you get them all.
And ladies and gentlemen, you can blame the squirrel on Bruce because Bruce asked, I believe tomorrow is Nintendo Direct. Wait, what did I believe tomorrow is Nintendo Direct will be 40 minutes of Starfield. Oh, well, he mentioned the Nintendo Direct, and that's all we needed. And then we went on this tangent. But we do.
Yeah. We do have a question from Bruce.
We do. So let's jump into the party chat.
It's party time! Woohoo! Oh, yeah!
So, Mr. Bruce has asked a very good question, and it's a question that I've kind of had in my head as well, and I didn't know how or when to work it in. I was going to kind of save it for when Starfield came out. But he asked a very good question, and he didn't put this in our usual Discord section. We have a nice little chat with Bruce because he came on the show, and he does ask a lot of questions in this chat between me and Nick and himself, which is great because we love hearing from him. The question is Starfield the new Halo for Microsoft?
What? You want me to go first on this one, or what do you want me to do here?
You can go first, or I'll go first. I don't know. I asked the question. So.
I do not believe it is the new Halo. I believe it's shiny and it's the thing, and Bethesda releases a game every decade, and so of course it's Bethesda, and so it gets its stuff and it's looking good, and so it's shiny. But I don't believe it's Master Chief. Do I believe Master Chief is fading? Yes, because they have so many titles now because of all the acquisitions. Before it was like Master Chief among like 10 things. Now it's like Master Chief among like 30 things, and so it just kind of is fading, and it didn't do as well. And so but Master Chief is a game that can be released, that you can release a new iteration for every 2-3 years. This is Starfield, and you are probably not going to see another Starfield maybe ever, but at least for 20 years, 30 years. Bethesda's got Fallout. They need to get to Fallout. They need to get the Elder Scrolls. So I just think because of its immensity, it cannot be that game.
See, I am going to disagree with this ever so slightly. Because I'm just doing a little bit of asking to Google, but I don't think the relationship with Microsoft is as good as it used to be. I think 343 are going in their own direction. I think Halo Infinite didn't hit the mark that Microsoft were expecting it to hit. It was okay. The multiplayer was okay. But there was still a lot of questions to be asked in terms of where it was going to go. I think the live action show that you watched on Paramount Plus,
Mhm.
I don't think that drew in as enough of a crowd as they were hoping it would draw into the game franchise, which is what usually happens. We've seen it with Drive to Survive on Netflix has drawn a larger crowd back to the Formula One Foundation in terms of more people are now interested in Formula One. There's more people following it. That tends to happen if you have a game franchise and you make a really, really good adaptation to movie or to screen in any way, shape, or form. You tend to then bring in a new audience that maybe didn't play that game. And I don't think, well, I think having it on Paramount Plus for a start was a bad idea. I think because it was an extended subscription that people probably didn't want to pay for on top of Netflix and Amazon and stuff like that. I mean, I'm recently joined Paramount Plus, but that was a free subscription with Prime, but didn't choose to watch Halo. So I think
I'll
it
forgive
tripped
you.
itself. Yeah, well, I wanted to watch Dexter, but we'll
So
not
many
get into that because
butts.
that's a completely
you
different
missed so many
screw.
butts, Sean. Halo, the TV show, Butts Edition is what you missed.
But yeah, see, Bruce is agreeing with me in chat. It should have been on Netflix. If it was on Netflix, we could probably have a completely different conversation because 343 Studios would have made a lot of money off the back of Netflix, and the show would have done great. It'd draw more people to the franchise. The game would have been big, so it all snowballs into something else. But Halo, for me, like I said, has been well diluted. There's lots of titles. Lots of people have played it. They've kind of outgrown the franchise. I mean, I played Halo 2 till my eyeballs fell out as a kid because I absolutely loved it. It was great. But I played that much Halo 2. By the time Halo 3 came out, I wasn't interested. I was like, I'm done with the mechanics of that game. I've played so much of it. And you then didn't go and do a right lot that was great and new and shiny. And Treyarch and Activision had done Call of Duty, which drew me in that completely direction because it was something fantastically different, and the PvP was great. The multiplayer was a lot better, and they've continued to do great things with that and rolled into Warzone and stuff like that. Where Halo kind of missed the mark with that. They could have gone into and done like a Halo version of Warzone and had a battle royale system, which would have been fantastic. And they could have made it free to play while they developed a really good game with a new angle and did different things, but they didn't. So the franchise is well diluted. So I can see 343. Sorry, 434 is a completely different studio to do with cars. So the two numbers completely like boggle my mind. 343 Studios could have done a lot more with Halo to make it more exciting. I think Microsoft have noticed that, and it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's pulling away from having Master Chief as its mascot because that they're still like you look at any advert now, he's still there. The mask and everything's still there, and they probably will continue to use that. But if Starfield is as successful as we're hoping it to be, and it's as successful as it's pigeonholed to be, because it is, it's like Todd Howard is absolutely singing its praises, and he thinks it's the best thing since sliced bread. And we don't normally hear from him when it comes to the development and publication of a game in terms of how well it's doing. It's usually Phil that does that forefront or a couple of other minions from Xbox. I have a feeling that if Starfield was great, they have put a lot of money into the hardware and the franchise in terms of your controller, the watch, the case, the different editions. There is a lot of marketing being done around Starfield that I believe I don't know, because it's not a single, you make your own character in Starfield, so it's not like there's a single face behind it, but Starfield as a franchise, that landscape that we see and the gameplay that we see, I think is going to be a massive thing for them for a long time. I think they're going to take this and run. But they did, but like you said, Bethesda do this every now and then. Every decade they drop a huge game and they run with it. Doom guy became the forefront of Xbox for a while because they dropped a fantastic game in 2016 and then backed it up with Doom Eternal. So, am I saying this because it's just the current shiny thing that's going to happen? Yes. Can I see this shiny thing being something that happens for more than just the next decade and Xbox run with it for a very long time? Yes. Can I see Master Chief kind of fall into the shadows a little bit until 343 make a better version of it and come out with a shiny new, high definition live action trailer for a new Halo? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, there's two questions here. Is Master Chief still the mascot, and is Starfield going to be the mascot? Starfield is not going to be the mascot for exactly what you just kind of came to the realization of. Is what's the mascot? The guy that's going to be whoever you want the guy to be. Okay, maybe a ship. Oh shit, the ships can be whatever you want them to be. Okay, I guess the landscaping then. Okay, sure, let's go with that. The little like shooting star, the little shooting colors on my thing. No, it just can't be. Is Master Chief the mascot right now? No, Master Chief. The game was crap before. Well, and I take that back. The game was mediocre, and so the TV show was never going to be great. The fans were pissed with the game, and so the TV show never had shot no matter where it was. I disagree with you guys that Netflix would have been like, no. Would it have had more eyeballs? Sure. But it's still never going to be, it's never going to get the 1.34 billion hours that we were talking about with Netflix because the game was mediocre and the multiplayer was shit when it came out. That's just a fact. And I don't even know if that's on 343. Microsoft knew that game was, and they said, we said this game was going to be out a year ago, so I don't care what that game is. Push it out the door. I guarantee you that's what they said after a year. They weren't giving them any more time. So they need to give 343 time to make a good Master Chief, which can be done, I believe, and a good Halo game, and then it needs to find its niche. It needs to be new and fresh. Right now it's not new and fresh. It's an old shooter with old controls, old thoughts, and they're trying to like hang on to that without bringing anything fresh to it. It needs its Breath of the Wild moment. That's what it needs. And if they can find that grasping that nostalgia from the early 2000s and marrying it with whatever it is that makes you, and I'm not saying you got to climb everything, okay? That's not, I just mean something that's fresh and new, and you're like, holy crap, this is Halo, but yet it's not Halo, but it should always be Halo. Then you'll be there. And can 343 find it? I don't know. But if they can, then we'll be on track again. And Microsoft needs to give them the space and the room to do it. And I don't know if they have it right now when you have Infinite with their new like multiplayer, free to play, blah 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 blah. Gotta keep churning out the new content, right? I mean, just today in the Xbox Wire, it was like, hey, there's a new season for the multiplayer. Is there enough people left in 343 still working on that campaign mode? Do we even care about it anymore? If they don't care about the campaign mode, Halo will never be the mascot for Xbox again. And I guarantee you. But if they're working on a single campaign, then I think it's got a shot.
Yeah, I mean, okay, let's go with the single campaign, open world. It was a difference. It was a refreshing change to the on rails through like different areas. That was great. I laughed when you didn't have to climb everything. I found that I spent a lot of time in the new Halo campaign climbing the freaking landscape to try and get from one place to a freaking another. Exactly the same as I'm doing in Tears of the Kingdom, by the way. It was very sparse. There wasn't a right lot to do. Like they could have maybe condensed that map as an open world, made it more challenging to get through the hordes of grunts and different stuff like that was there to make it more challenging. That was great. I got bored because it was the same old. It got very Assassin's Creedy, Far Cry for me, where
yes, exactly.
Get to this outpost, do this. Go to this outpost, do this. Well, like Tears of the Kingdom if you want to talk about open world stuff, like as I need to get to this area, but by the time I've got to that area, I've been squirreled by 64 different shiny things, 50 different bosses, and so many different stuff that I wanted to be interested in. I've now unlocked 12 different side quests and 6 different shrine quests, and like I now don't know what to do more than go to point B where I wanted to go. So you need to spend, like, for me, 343 need to go and spend some time and just be like, look, if we're going to do this open world, we need to make it more in depth. We need to make it more interesting, give them more challenges, pull them in different directions, add some side quests, bring in that you're on some kind of alien verse world and there's artifacts. Starfield are going to do that with their artifacts.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to go and look at all these different aspects of open world, kind of like open world RPGs, because that's became basically what it becomes. You become a role playing person inside this giant open world of stuff. They need to go and look at all that and come back and be like, we're going to do this and make it more fresh. We're going to refresh Halo as a franchise into this great open world adventure that you can have where you can do different things, rather than it's Halo, but you can climb stuff and go really far.
Yep. Yes. So the initial Bruce question was, what was the initial question?
Is Starfield the new Halo, basically, for Microsoft?
No, I would say no, it is not the new Halo, but also Halo isn't Microsoft's cup of tea anymore either. It's just old. And they have not done a good job like Nintendo has done with always being like, hey, look at Mario Galaxy, now you got this cool physics thing, and I'm sorry, is that Galaxy? Yeah, at Galaxy. And then, oh, look at, now we're on to Odyssey, and look at what you can do. But wait, there's still 2D Mario where you can now all play on one screen, and you all bounce around, and you hate each other because you push each other off the platforms. And wow, that's fun, huh? And wait, no, now there's 3D World. Oh, it's a little different, but yet still the same, and so you love it. They didn't do that with Halo. It got old, and they just rode the sales numbers that they had, and I think they tried some, but it just hasn't worked out. And I don't know if Bruce is cussing at me or what, but he's over here in French, and I don't know what it means. But I wouldn't even try to say it because I can't, but I have a feeling he's cussing at me. So yeah.
Is that just a general feeling in like, because you can't understand it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, just what else am I supposed to say? So yeah, I don't think Starfield's the new Halo. I think it's the new shiny thing for Microsoft. Sure, that's 100%. But I don't know. I don't know. Did they? Yeah, I don't really want to get into that conversation. I was going to ask, do they have a Halo? But I don't. That's a great conversation for another week. We've been here long enough.
I'm trying to figure that out. Is that French Canadian, or I don't know.
Sorry, that wasn't meant for you, he says. I don't know what to say about that. It wasn't meant for you.
I'm going to say, I just translated that to English and said I had to love my laundry to wash. I could have underpants. So I'm trying to figure out, is that French or is that French Canadian? I had to use Google Translate for that as well. So
that's fantastic. I love it. So anyways.
Bruce, you always bring a smile to my face. You
That's
are
right.
a nice guy. I loved having you on, and I love having random chats with you.
Oh my gosh. So anyways, that is my thought. And we could double back at another podcast about, like, is there a Halo? Is there a new Master Chief? I don't think it's Starfield. If you could get Playground Games to make you Fable every 5 or 6 years, and you could really make a main character out of that, maybe, but that's just like a maybe. I mean, certainly isn't no. It's certainly no Halo now. We don't even really know what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways,
the only thing I think that's transferable in terms of being a mascot from Starfield is the suit, which then just brings it into being another Master Chief. If you take the astronaut style suit, the colors, the red and white, and and you gloss over the visor so you can't see the character inside. That's the only thing that's transferable for me into being an avatar for Microsoft, and I can't see them doing that because they've already run that with Microsoft with Master Chief. Sorry, it's late.
I get you. We do we have one more question? Is that right? Thought we did.
Let me have a look.
Yeah,
I'm losing
it's
my voice as
Ambassador
well.
83. He says, "What do you think about Xbox making nearly all their exclusives open world RPGs?" Oh, that's where you got this from, Sean. I didn't realize that.
Ah, look at that! Look
Yeah.
at that!
What do you think about Xbox making nearly all their exclusives open world RPGs? Starfield, Elder Scrolls, Redfall, Avowed, Fable. I feel tired just thinking about the time you need to sink into them.
Yeah, I think it's just flavor of the month. I think that's what we're looking at here. A lot of people have looked around, and we had games like Deathloop, which was a little bit open worldy. Halo, we've just spent some time looking at Halo Infinite, that was very open world. Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76. You've got all those big open world games which people are playing quite regular. I mean, I want to go as far to say as Fortnite and Warzone are open world to an extent in terms of you've got a vast area where you have a choice to go. You're not on rails. It's kind of you can pick and choose how you want to play the game in terms of where you want to go. But going into the world of complete world of open world, I think it's just flavor of the month. I think give it another 10 months and we'll probably roll back around to first person shooters being flavor of the month, and we'll see a lot more of those coming out from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I think they do need to look at their IPs and start thinking about what they need. They certainly do have a lot of open world RPGs. That doesn't at all. If they can get them out the door and have them be pretty and nice, then I certainly don't have an issue with that. We'll see. I mean, the ones we're talking about here are all kind of, except for Redfall, which fell a bit flat in some areas. We're all still waiting to kind of with bated breath to see how they look. But I do think they need to start looking at their IPs and saying, what do we need? And I think yes, we don't need any more open world RPGs. I mean, and I know I'm a Nintendo guy, so whatever, I'm biased. But we need some Banjo-Kazooie stuff. We need some other stuff as well. But yeah, I don't know. That's my thought.
There's one there that's missing off that list. And for me, it's a good one that was missing, and it should be well accounted for. And in terms of genre breaking, it should definitely be there more than anything else. It's Grounded.
That's true. Yeah.
Grounded was like, even in its early developments, when you were playing it and you were interested, you had a huge amount of sandbox.
Yeah.
You did the crafting, you could build whatever you wanted, but then you had the missions, you had how it was weird that it was Honey I Shrunk the Kid style, in terms of like you were up against insects that were like huge because you were shrunk down to a tiny size. I mean, that game drew you in for a long time.
Yeah. It did.
And I don't think Microsoft did a lot in terms of franchising Grounded. They could have done a lot more with it. They could have franchised a lot. Grounded in its right, and I don't know how the rights would probably work with this because they'd have to go to Disney for it, but Grounded would make a great TV series.
Yeah, you're right. It would. It really would. I never thought about that, but yeah, that would be that would be a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the rights behind that would be absolutely nuts because you probably have to go to Disney in terms of like, it's very much Honey, I Shrunk the Kids or Honey, I Blew Up the Kids, depending on which way you go around you go. But Grounded would make a fantastic TV show. You could run that for a long time because even the game, content-wise, is huge with the amount of like storylines that's going on. You have the different characters, so I could quite happily see that being that, as we're talking about franchises for TV. But in terms of open worlds, if you bring me something that's new and fresh like Grounded was, then I kind of forget that you've already got like Starfield. We're expecting this to be completely new and fantastic and shiny in terms of open world RPGs. It's going to break the mold. That's what they're hoping for. If you can bring me something like that all the time with an open world RPG, then you're going to pique my interest and I'm going to play it. If it's basically just another Far Cry or Assassin's Creed, it's just I'm going to get bored really quickly.
So yeah, so I think they do need. I guess my final say is they need more. They do need to expand their properties into some areas. I love the games that they're showing. I'm excited for all the ones you've listed here, and it just all it means is I'm gonna spend more time playing these games than maybe the indie games that pop onto Game Pass as I normally would, quite frankly. So that's my final word.
Yeah. Excellent. And I think with that, I'm going to roll us out. Bruce has disappeared off to his father's, and I hope he has fun. And I need to go to bed because I'm quite tired. So, as always, if you want to get in touch with us via any of the social media accounts, you can do. That's Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Everything is at Game Pass News. You can email us at gamepassnewscast@gmail.com. Ask us any questions there, or correct us if we do say things wrong, or call games by the wrong name. If you're listening to a podcast app, you can review us via that. And I'm losing my voice. You can subscribe to the Twitch channel, which is obviously part of the contest for this month. And doing that gives you 5 entries into winning 3 months of free Game Pass, or it gets you access to the Discord channel. If you want to buy any of our sweet merchandise, you can do by heading over to redbubble.com and find our store at Game Pass News. And I believe we still sit in the Nintendo does as well. Thank you very much to Bruce for joining us in the live chat. I hope you enjoyed our answer to your question. It was a lengthy one. And until next time, everybody else, we shall see you later.
See you later, guys.